Hello and welcome. This is Giant Redwood, and you're about to witness powerful machines transforming timber into sawdust through dangerous, thrilling, and challenging processes. Beyond that, you'll see a skilled carpenter crafting stunning masterpieces out of raw wood. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment to join us on this incredible journey. Forest, the roar of a chainsaw cuts through the silence. The forestry worker grips the saw tight, pulls the starter cord, and the chain starts spinning like rows of hungry steel teeth. Each time the blade bites into the ancient trunk, pale sawdust sprays into the air, and the sharp scent of fresh sap mingles with the damp earth. The crack of splitting wood and the growl of the chain blend with the whisper of wind through the canopy, creating a raw symphony of man and untamed nature. The worker circles the tree, studying the cut, calculating the fall line. One wrong angle, and the massive trunk could come crashing back, threatening life in an instant. Calloused hands grip the handle firmly, eyes fixed on the deepening groove that eats through the sturdy grain. When the tree shudders, leans, and finally crashes down, the ground trembles under its weight. Branches snap and settle into the hush of the forest floor. The chainsaw pauses for just a breath before roaring to life again at the base of the next giant. In that engine's growl is the pulse of the woods and the human will to tame it, turning every cut trunk into beams and planks that will shelter families, bridge rivers, and carry the forest breath far and wide. At the edge of the forest clearing, the excavator rumbles to life, its steel arms stretching out to handle the cutting and bark stripping head. The rotating blade buzzes sharply as it sinks into the rough outer bark of a massive log, peeling away the old skin layer by layer. The scrape of steel against dry bark crackles through the air, flakes and strips falling away to reveal the smooth, pale wood beneath. Inside the cab, the operator stays steady, eyes fixed on the spinning head, hands guiding the excavator's arm so the blade doesn't slip and scar the valuable timber within. With each turn of the stripping head, another thick layer of bark is shed. Fresh sap, scent, and wood dust fill the air, coating the cab windows in a thin film. Behind, the excavator swings smoothly, stacking the stripped logs neatly at the clearing's edge, ready for trucks to haul them to the mill. When the blade finally slows, the logs lie bare and clean, ready to be sawed into boards or ground into chips. In the hush of the clearing, the hum of steel and the sweet, raw scent of fresh timber remind the crew that this quiet task holds power, a respect for the forest, and the care it takes to turn old giants into new beginnings. Amid the timber yard, the excavator rumbles to life, its steel arm fitted with a cutting and splitting head. Long logs are sliced into neat segments, then the splitting wedge drops like a steel axe, cracking each piece into tidy firewood sticks. The crack of splitting wood snaps through the air as sawdust drifts and settles on the cab windows. The operator keeps a close eye on each cut and split, ready to pause if a stubborn knot risks jamming the blade. Each log passing through the cutting and splitting head turns raw forest timber into ready firewood, warming hearths and kitchens where families gather close on cold winter nights. Inside the woodyard, the high-powered hydraulic log splitter roars like a steel beast. Long chunks of timber feed into the splitting chamber, where the steel wedge slams down under massive pressure, cracking each tough log into neat sticks of firewood. The snap of splitting wood echoes out, sawdust bursts into the air, and dust clings to the worker's face and sleeves. The operator watches the wedge closely, ready to halt the machine if a stubborn knot or twisted grain threatens to jam the blade. Every split log that drops out is one more promise of warmth for cold winter nights, fueling fires that burn bright in homes far and wide. In the wide timber yard, the second log splitting line roars to life. Long logs are lifted by the loader and fed straight into the saw. The steel blade spins fast, slicing rough timber into neat short sections ready for splitting. From the saw, the conveyor feeds the cut segments into the hydraulic splitter. Under immense pressure, the steel wedge drops like a massive axe, cracking each piece into uniform sticks of firewood. The sharp crack of splitting wood echoes through the yard as sawdust and wood dust drift into the air, coating the workers' sleeves and helmets. The operator watches the entire line, eyes trained for any jammed log, twisted grain or blade slip that could damage the wedge. The whole line breathes like a steady rhythm of steel and timber. From rough trunks once rooted deep in the forest, through cutting and splitting, they become neat bundles of firewood, ready to ignite warm hearths and keep homes cozy on cold, distant nights. In the wide wood yard, the log splitting line with its integrated cutting and packing units works non-stop. Long logs are first sliced into even short sections, then fed straight into the splitting chamber. Under heavy pressure, the steel wedge cracks each piece into neat firewood sticks. Right after splitting, a conveyor carries the fresh firewood to the packing station, where each bundle is stacked tight, bound securely, and loaded for delivery. The sharp snap of splitting wood and the steady hum of conveyors create a cold but steady rhythm amid the swirling sawdust. Every wrapped bundle is another promise of warmth, ready to fuel winter hearths and bring families together around a crackling fire. Amid a clearing of felled trees, the excavator roars to life, its steel arm fitted with a chopping axe head and a root-clearing tool. The steel axe strikes deep into old stumps, splitting heavy roots away from the packed earth and stones. Leftover logs are cracked into neat firewood sticks, stacked into bundles ready to be hauled out. The sharp clang of steel on wood echoes through the clearing, while dirt and sawdust swirl around the cab. Inside, the operator stays focused, hands steady on the controls to guide each powerful chop. By the time the ground lies flat again and the last bundles of firewood are gathered, the cleared land stands ready for new trees to grow. A fresh start rising from the remains of the old. Have you ever wondered how a chainsaw could change everything? In just 2 minutes and 30 seconds, the sound of steel teeth cutting through wood, each splinter falling to the ground, that noise is more than just machinery. It's a sign that something is about to happen. Imagine, deep in a lonely forest, a shadowy figure holding a chainsaw, the clock ticking down to only 2 minutes and 30 seconds remain. What waits at the end of that sound? Do you dare stay and hear the whole story? Inside a small sawmill, the disc saw screeches like a giant blade swallowing whole logs one after another. The trunk glides slowly along the conveyor, feeding straight into the spinning steel disc blade. Dense grain cracks under the steel teeth, splitting apart into smooth, straight planks. The sharp whine of the disc slicing through timber echoes through the shop, mingling with the raw scent of fresh wood and the faint tang of machine oil that clings to every corner. The craftsman stands close by, hands steady on the feed, eyes locked on the cutting line. Just 40 seconds for a stump grinder. But not every grinder is the same. This is a disc wheel type machine, spinning fast, cutting deep, devouring the toughest roots. You can almost hear the metal teeth digging into the earth, the smell of decaying wood rising. Each rotation carries a story of power and persistence. 40 seconds, too fast or too slow? Only you can answer that question. Have you ever stood beside a wood chipper, listening to the crack of splintering wood, mixing with the machine's breath in just 3 minutes and 30 seconds? But in those 210 seconds, stubborn logs turn to sawdust. From dry branches to rotten stumps, everything gets pulled into the spinning steel blades. That sound roars as a reminder of its power and a warning. If you ever let your guard down within that growl, what do you hear? A story of hard work, or a secret hidden among the shredded wood? 3 minutes and 30 seconds and enough time to grind it all down, but maybe not enough time to truly understand it all. Just 1 minute, a wood chipper running. That sounds simple. Logs turned into fine sawdust, wood chips scattered everywhere. But behind that grinding noise lurks dangers no one expects. Steel blades spinning fast, one careless move, a hand and arm gone in an instant. Fine sawdust drifting in the air, breathe it in too long, and your lungs grow weak. 1 minute can clear a pile of wood, 1 minute can also cost your health, even your life. Will you choose to work fast or work safe? Just 40 seconds, a rotating hopper wood chipper begins to swallow the logs. Each piece of wood disappears, spinning around, then turns to sawdust. The sound of steel blades clashing, like metal growling deep in the forest. In those short 40 seconds, all you see is wood being crushed. But inside that spinning hopper lies a force and hidden dangers waiting. A sleeve, a stray rope, all it takes to get pulled in. And those 40 seconds can feel endless if you're not careful enough. One minute and 30 seconds, enough for a rock crusher to turn everything into fine dust like sawdust. The sound of metal striking stone, crushing blades spinning, the whole ground trembling as if a hidden beast lives inside. Large rocks shattered to pieces, dust hangs in the air, thick with the scent of earth and stone. In those short 90 seconds, the worker must keep hands, sleeves, away from the gnashing steel gears. 1.5 minutes feels quick, but one mistake could cost far more than a pile of crushed rock.